Alright, so this is a suggestion via Discord. The name of the video is 5 Google Earth Black Sites. This is coming from the channel Dark5. So here's the thing here. My thoughts, whenever I hear anything called a black site, it means a place most likely that is extremely secure, right? Or it could be a place where that's being photographed from like a satellite, for example, and they need to kind of blur out or black out the areas because they really don't want you seeing, the public, right, or anyone else basically in the world seeing exactly what this looks like from the satellite. Get what I'm saying here? But let's see what it actually means, because again, that's my perception. I would like to find out what the actual definition is, but let's go and check it out.
Parisel Islands, China.
Parisel Islands.
The Parisel Islands, also known as the Huangsha Archipelago, are a cluster of approximately 130 small islands and coral reefs in the South China Sea, and the location of one of Google Earth's mysterious black sites.
Okay.
This place, seen by few human eyes, appears on Google Earth as a series of blurred and blacked out images for reasons not entirely understood. The Parisels are also home to the world's deepest underwater sinkhole, known as Dragon Hole, which appears to have been deliberately scrubbed from Google Earth. Approximately 1,000 feet deep, and referred to by local fishermen as the Eye of the South China Sea, photographs of Dragon Hole exist, despite the lack of satellite imagery. It was, however, only officially revealed by the Chinese government less than a decade ago. Further adding to the intrigue of this location, legend claims that the Dragon Hole is where the much-fabled Monkey King once found his golden cudgel. Many have sought an explanation for why the site is not visible on Google Earth. Measures such as blurring and blacking out locations are typically reserved for military bases, prisons, and areas whose discovery could represent a security threat.
That's what I thought. But why would a set of coral reefs be blacked out or blurred? There has to be a reason for this, guys. Guys, let me know in the comments what you guys actually think. And also, while we're watching here, I did some quick research. Yeah, it's just basically 130 small coral islands and reefs. That's it. Apparently nothing is there, allegedly, but if they're blurring it out, then obviously something is there.
The most likely working theory for why Google would hide these locations is that the Parisel Islands, as a long-disputed territory, may be the subject of a political conflict.
Let's see.
While claimed by the Republic of China, the archipelago, which had a population of over 1,000 in 2014, is also claimed by both the Socialist Republic of Vietnam and Taiwan.
Ah, okay. Also, China allegedly took this over the 20th of January, 1974.
Since the end of the Second World War, numerous conflicts have taken place, including the 1974 Battle of the Parisel Islands, in which the South Vietnamese failed to expel the Chinese occupiers. In more recent years, images have surfaced which appear to show mysterious structures appearing on the Parisel Islands. This has led many to speculate that Beijing may be fortifying their position in order to bolster their claim over the islands.
Yep, sounds like it.
While the fate of the Parisels remains unknown and hotly debated, it appears that China is growing increasingly reluctant to loosen her grip. Janette Island.
Janette Island. Let's see.
In the East Siberian Sea on Google Maps is a sinister black blotch resembling an ink smudge on a lens. This is the location of Janette Island, a landmass of 3 square kilometers, which is administratively owned by the Russian Federation.
Okay.
Janette Island remained undiscovered until the late 19th century, when it was stumbled upon by an ultimately doomed expedition which was set for the North Pole. Although only discovered in recent history and officially uninhabited, Janette Island has been the subject of much intrigue and conspiracy. Despite being in a politically sensitive area of Russia, there are no clear explanations for why Google Earth sensors have obscured the island. Some reports even state that the island has been blurred out in images dating back as far as the 1980s. Whilst many have suggested that this is simply a glitch, others maintain that such an explanation is too convenient, instead putting forward some wilder theories, some featuring aliens, others a top-secret military base. One 4chan user offered up the story of how a pen pal relative of his, who had served in the Russian Navy, had visited Janette Island in the 1990s. After not receiving a letter for a couple of years, the user finally got a correspondence, which revealed that his relative's handwriting and mental state seemed to have deteriorated significantly. The relative claimed to have been moved from one institution to another over several years, with officials trying to convince him that he was insane. The translation reads, quote, "I played along, so they let me out, but I know. They're keeping them on Janette Island. It's absolutely disgusting what they do to them there."
Bro, again, so basically another claim of like a super secret military base. But I think the main question is that who exactly is sending in these requests to have these images removed? I think that's probably the biggest thing, specifically with Google being an American company. Exactly how are you, who's sending in the request? I think that should be the main question here. Like if the Russian government is sending in the request, I think that should probably be public. But, all right.
Some other more plausible alternative theories include that the Russians have constructed a missile base or naval station for nuclear submarines. Another popular theory is that Barack Obama had sold or even gave away a number of oil-rich islands to the Russians, of which Janette Island was one. Although many of the more outlandish theories and conspiracies surrounding Janette Island have been refuted or disproved, no watertight explanation has been offered as to why this location remains the subject of censorship.
Are there any images online?
Sandy Island.
And guys, here's the thing. So Janette Island, like, you can see it online. It's just not available on Google Earth, apparently. But bro, Google it. It's there. You can go see a big icy thing in the middle of the ocean. Or sea. I have no idea where it is.
In the South Pacific Ocean,
the Siberian Sea, so.
An oval-shaped landmass known as Sandy Island has been depicted since at least 1774, appearing in numerous maps and atlases. It was recorded as being approximately 15 miles long by 3 miles wide, making it quite substantial in size compared to the smaller neighboring islands. Sandy Island, however, does not appear on Google Maps today as anything more than a faint, blurry, and easily missed outline. It was originally charted by the renowned British explorer Captain James Cook, whose cartography abilities and navigational skills were highly accurate by contemporary standards. The next official record of Sandy Island was made just over 100 years later by the whaling ship Velocity in 1876, and both British and German maps published in the late 1800s clearly show the island in the location described by Cook, as does an Australian maritime directory from the same era. However, after a number of expeditions failed to find the island, sea charts began to be published with the letters ED beside Sandy Island, meaning existence doubted. It wasn't until 1979 that the French Hydrographic Service removed Sandy Island from nautical charts altogether, and the non-existence was confirmed by Australian scientists in November 2012. The crew of the Australian expedition also recorded sea depths, which were consistently more than 4,300 feet, suggesting that an island may never have existed in these waters.
I'm not even sure that's like extremely uncommon, though, right? I mean, there've been plenty of times where people that would basically create the maps like a couple of hundred years ago, they would say that there were islands and places that people are like, yeah, it's definitely there, but in all actuality they were never there. They're more like mirages, right? Like at a certain point you think you see something in the distance, but when you get closer to it, it just completely disappears. There were a couple of tales of that very specific thing happening
in these waters. Later the same month, Sandy Island was officially stricken from maps produced by the National Geographic Society, and it vanished from Google Maps, which had previously depicted the island as covered by black pixels. The most plausible explanation for the records is that all maps had been based on the initial observations made by Cook and the Velocity, and that the crews of these two ships had in fact seen a pumice raft, a mass of porous pumice stone generated by underwater volcanoes, which floats atop the surface of the ocean.
Okay.
Amchitka Island.
But here's the thing, like, based off of where that is around New Caledonia and like Vanuatu, guys, a lot of these islands are like atolls for the most part, right? And they are in fact suffering from like rising sea levels. So because it is right there, it wouldn't be surprising if it was actually there at one time and it's gone. There are a couple of island nations in that area, that region on Earth, that are absolutely disappearing, to the point where these people that are on these islands are trying to buy land in other countries so they can kind of recreate their nation on some mainland.
Volcanic and tectonically unstable, Amchitka is an island in the Rat Islands group, situated in southwest Alaska, consisting of about 116 square miles, which have been controlled by the United States since 1867, when it was purchased.
Specifically, the name of the country that I'm referring to specifically is called Tuvalu.
Square miles, which have been controlled by the United States since 1867, when it was purchased from Russia. Amchitka's history is rich, yet mysterious. It was inhabited for more than 2,500 years by the native Aleut people, but is now apparently uninhabited. The area appears predominantly as blurred blocks on Google Earth, fueling much speculation. In the 1940s, Amchitka was used as a strategic outpost and airfield by U.S. troops, and it continued to be used by the military following the Second World War. Amchitka was selected by the United States Atomic Energy Commission as an ideal site for nuclear testing in the late 1950s and through the 60s, and was allegedly the location of 3 underground nuclear detonations, including one of the largest ever carried out. The goal of the nuclear experiments, which were highly controversial and heavily protested at the time, was to determine the extent of the seismic effects produced by underground explosions and their impact on the Earth's layers and composition. Despite a great deal of opposition from activists, several tests were carried out on Amchitka, and footage, which has since been released, shows the effects of the underground explosions on the surface, where krypton and tritium were subsequently found.
Krypton?
It remains publicly unknown to this day why Google has censored satellite images of Amchitka Island, but it seems safe to assume that the reason is related to the location's nuclear history and tectonically unstable present. Amchitka.
So basically, they don't know if it's going to be there for much longer, basically. It may sink itself into the ocean.
History and tectonically unstable present. Amchitka is destined to become a protected wildlife reserve in the year 2025, but it is unknown how long it will take the island's native flora and fauna to recover from their years of nuclear abuse.
Guys, that's the story of a lot of the atolls, though. So,
Prison de Montluçon.
what?
The Prison de Montluçon is situated in a built-up area of central France, not far from Paris, nestled among homes and streets. Today, it appears on Google Maps as a vast oval of heavily distorted pixelation, but this wasn't always the case.
Because it's a prison, right?
In 2013, an already infamous criminal named Redouane Faïd, who has been considered France's most wanted criminal, had escaped incarceration at the Sequedin prison by using explosives to blast through 5 doors, taking 4 wardens hostage, and using a carefully coordinated getaway vehicle. He was recaptured weeks later while trying to secure fraudulent documents and escape to Israel. On July 1st, 2018, at around 11:30 a.m.,
Bro, what did he do? Guys, what?
On July 1st, 2018, at around 11:30 a.m., the French gangster and jailbreaker, partway through serving a 25-year stretch for murder, the result of a heist gone wrong, made another escape, this time from the Prison du Mont-Ceylon, and even more elaborate. A helicopter landed in the prison, manned by 3 of Faïd's armed accomplices and a flight instructor who was held at gunpoint. Faïd narrowly escaped, and the helicopter was later found near the Charles de Gaulle airport, where the instructor had been released unharmed, and the gang
Charles de Gaulle is in Paris.
had made their getaway by car. Faïd, who moved in plain sight using a burqa as a disguise while at large, was described by French police as being, quote, beyond his charisma and aura, beyond the folklore, a dangerous individual. He was once again apprehended by the police in October, along with his brother, 2 other men, and a number of weapons.
All right, so I found him.
It is believed that Faid's escape was planned with the help of Google Maps, which enabled them to scout out the prison's layout and form the escape plan. This led the French...
So I'm guessing this is the reason why all of the prisons going forward have been blocked out on Google Maps, because of this guy here.
...government to request that Google black out and blur all images of French prisons, and eventually the censorship of numerous similar locations. Thank you for watching Dark 5. Don't forget to like and subscribe to continue exploring the greatest mysteries of this world and beyond. Your support and engagement help my videos get seen by even more people. And let me know if there are any other Google Earth mysteries I missed.
All right, so really quickly, let's go ahead and dig into this guy. This is super intriguing here. I've never heard of him in my life. I also don't speak French, so I can't really, translate some of these things. But apparently, so he's definitely had a firearm and tried to take something from someone else. He also had a firearm and ran into a bank. That also happened. He also tried to break out twice. All right, so the case that he's referring to happened in 2013, and the second one happened in October 2018. So, I have no idea where he is right now, but he's 52 currently, still alive. He has apparently multiple books, and apparently there's also a movie about him. This looks intriguing, thoroughly intriguing, guys. But all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day, you guys. Let me know in the comments, why do you think some of the other ones are blacked out? This one here was pretty obvious, right? It makes all the sense in the world that they blocked out some of these things from the public view. Absolutely. But the other ones? I don't know. Kind of tricky. But all right, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. Guys, before we go, are you guys subscribed to the other channels? Logical Movie Reviews with Mr. L. Boyd, along with Mr. L. Boyd Music. Both are found in the description. Check it out.